everyone. Welcome to the Lair of Secrets, our first Saturday side passage. Our Saturday side passages are patterned after the long gone days of Saturday morning cartoons. Also, it's a side passage because not everyone here could be here for our regular game. And so we've decided rather than not having a game, we still wanted to get together as friends and game. And so we are doing this side adventure one shot. It might turn into longer than that. Probably will, because we're only going till around noon today. Anytime we aren't running right now our Cyberpunk RED game, if we don't have enough people, we'll be doing a side passage, which may be this game, it might be another. So today we are in a campaign of my own and ChatGPT's making. In order to research for our Oracle's show, I dug a little bit more into ChatGPT as an Oracle and came up with our game here called Sundered Skies, Navigating the Nexus. Our characters are here in the Sovereign Federation. It is a sprawling empire composed of a patchwork of countries, mostly which joined willingly. Think England and or France during their expansions around the world. It is a blended society with a mixed range of cultures, perspectives, and peoples, and it is considered at the peak of technology in the world. Citizens can expect the best in train travel, automatons, and magical lighting. They recently negotiated a peace with Astrakia after a long war. Our characters are going to be attending a soiree held by Lady Octavia Morecaster. She's a high-ranking Sovralian diplomat known for her exquisite fashion sense and sharp wit. She was instrumental in negotiating the peace with Astrakia. She is tall, regal, ice blue eyes, and has a cascade of dark hair typically pulled back into an elaborate updo. All of the images actually are from either Midjourney or Adobe Firefly. I just want to make sure I get credit where credit is due. I would much rather pay an artist. We are playing Savage Worlds, and I'm going to throw to Ken to kind of explain the basics of Savage Worlds.
Savage Worlds has been around for a number of years. Been through several editions. We're going to be playing the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, which, as a side note, I'm very excited about because I got it just before the pandemic and never got to play it. So the theme of Savage Worlds is fast, furious, fun, and really it's meant to be played very fast and not get too hung up on specifics. Similar to D&D, there are traits which manifest as attributes and skills. You roll your trait die plus a wild die and try and beat a target number, either an opposed value against another player or a number set by the game master. Dices explode on a max value, so if you roll a six-sided die and you get a 6, it explodes. The wild die is a d6, so if you have, let's say, an attribute called shooting, and that's at a d4, you also get to roll that d6. Whichever one gets the higher value is the value that you go with. Most importantly, there are these lovely little things called bennies, which allow you to re-roll those things as well as do other things within the game. And so they're basically the game's currency, or almost like their imagination currency. You want to spend these as much as you can, and you want to do fun, enjoyable, amusing things in the game because the GM will give you more. And I think that's about it. I think don't get too overly hung up on the specifics and don't be too much focused on what your character sheet says you can do. Because of the wild die, you have a chance of doing almost anything. And because of how dice explode, you have a decent chance of doing something spectacular, even if you're not trained in it.
Okay, so we're going to go over characters as they are arriving to Lady Octavia Morecaster's soiree, where supposedly a new scientific marvel will be unveiled. I'm going to go from left to right on my screen, which would be Aaron, then Josh, then Ken.
Oh, I was hoping you would pass me because I wanted to look up a name for something.
Okay, then we'll circle around to you. We'll throw to Josh then.
Okay. My name is Thaddeus Hargrave, also known as Thad. I am a wealthy industrialist. My fortune was made in the mining industry. And I was the original funder of the portal experiment in hopes of finding some resource-rich new lands. I'm a middle-aged, well-dressed man. I've got graying hair, a pair of very interesting glasses that are also clockworky. I also have a cane, which has the head of a gear, and I'm not afraid to use it. I am an ambitious, shrewd person, also maybe a touch of madness in me, but I'm a determined leader, and I will get back what was mine.
Ken.
All right, I am Oren Cogsley, aka Rusty, and I don't have a cool voice to go with my character yet. Rusty is a former machinist turned adventuring tinkerer, known throughout the Federation for his skills as a master engineer and inventor. His innovative designs and constructs merge magic with technology and are highly sought over. I have my signature creation, the ether-infused automaton, following me behind, which can augment, project an energy field to protect me from various things of harm. And I'm also capable of boosting or lessening other people's abilities. So basically, weird science background for you, Savage Worlds nuts.
I am Liliana Sterling. I am an esteemed scholar of arcane biology. I have spent a very long time out in the field studying unique flora and fauna. And suddenly, to my dismay, I've been called back to the Sabalian Federation. And I don't know why. I think it has something to do with the secret society I'm a part of, which is the Lakeland Foundation. Really concerned about this. They only call you back when something's wrong.
You wrote down the name for that? Because I want to put it into my notes for later. I am a big fan of characters also adding to the world as we play. So if it's too big, I'll call for a Benny or something. I might say no, but probably not.
How many bennies do I get to start?
Yeah, everyone gets 3 bennies to start. And because there are 3 players, I get 3 bennies to start. These happen to be fate tokens, but they're metal and they're cool, so I'm going to use them. Lady Octavia Morecaster's estate in the city is quite expansive for being in the city. It's one of the newer estates in the city. They had to knock down several older buildings to accommodate it. When each of you arrive, you are led through the manor and into the back garden, which is a couple acres in size, columns kind of lining a central walkway, and at the far end of a garden, a stage has been erected, and there is something large under black cloth draped over it is sitting on the stage. There's a podium in front of it, and there are very obvious heavy-duty electrical and etheric cabling that trail from underneath the cloth to somewhere else of the garden. It's a small soiree. Only about 200 people are here. There are several other people here that you will all recognize as you arrive. Lady Octavia Morecaster, which we've talked about already. With her as her special guest, who is going to be introducing this new marvel of technology, is Dr. Alicia Halcyon. And I will introduce the rest as we come in. But I've got a question for each of you as you arrive. We'll start with Oren. We'll start with Rusty. You were invited here because of your recent fame with your ether-infused automaton, and you brought it here on request to show it off. You have some concerns about this so-called Nexus portal that they're going to be revealing. What are those concerns?
Well, it seems to me if you do it wrong, I could ignite all of the magic in the world simultaneously, incinerating us all instantly. Seems a bit of a problem, especially if you didn't hook up things, just quite right. So, yeah, that's my primary concern.
I would say that is a big concern. Thad, you're hoping to see your investment here able to pay out.
Oh, yes.
You know Count Rupert von Draken, your sometimes business partner, sometimes rival, is also here. You know he is also an investor in this Nexus portal. What led to the falling out after your last success or failure?
I assume he's got in front of the cameras and started trying to take all of the credit, which I was the original founder, and I should get the credit for that.
All right. Liliana, you're a researcher and scholar and have no idea why you've been invited to this soiree, but Dame Eudora Featherington has bade you come along, and she is your patron here, part of that foundation that you mentioned earlier. You discovered something just before you were called back to the Federation. What was it, and why did you decide to keep it a secret?
I discovered a sap that can animate the dead. It comes from a tree, and it gives you the ability to animate the dead for about an hour. It could get stronger. This is only just the pure sap, unrefined. There's nothing extra done to. And I'm really concerned about that because that kind of power doesn't belong in the world.
Okay. I'm going to say you have a sample of that sap with you.
Oh, no.
Good in case one of us dies, I suppose.
Animates the dead, doesn't necessarily bring them back to life, but maybe it could. Who knows? Okay, so
very Frankenstein there for you.
Thad, as shortly after you enter and are walking around, Count Rupert von Draken comes up to you and offers you a glass of red wine. Good to see you here, old man.
You call that a mustache? You don't even have a beard with it.
Now, we're both joint investors. We've made quite a lot of money in the past before.
Yes, I suppose.
Given what I've heard about this Nexus portal, I think you and I could put all of our concerns behind us and never have to worry again.
Well, I should hope so. This Nexus portal should give us both ample areas and ample opportunity to never have to see each other again.
Very well, old friend. I'll let you.
That was my idea, damn it.
Of course. Well, I have some people to see, and I hear that it'll be unveiled fairly soon, so enjoy, even though it's not my party yet.
Yeah, well, that sounded very ominous.
Well, given everything that's going to come through that portal, well, I'll leave it at that.
A very strange man. I once called you a friend, and who knows? Maybe things will change. Maybe you will change, and I hope you do. Good day. I'll walk away.
As you are entering, Liliana, shortly after you enter, you spy Dame Eudora Featherington, and she takes her fan and kind of gestures you over.
I come as I was bid to do.
Okay. Liliana, it's so good to see you.
Lady Featherington, it is a pleasure to come back so suddenly. It wasn't my expectations to be here for another 2 years or so. I was deep into some research. I
understand. I do understand. The Foundation felt it was important for you to come back at this time. Now's not the time to really discuss why, but how were things over in the lands outside of Sobralia?
Productive, ma'am. I'm just concerned about the sudden recall. This doesn't have to do anything with my funding, does it?
No, you are still fully funded. You don't need to worry about that. But with this new peace with Astrakia, it's thrown things into a bit of chaos. And so we're trying to smooth things out and get things in order. And we want to make sure that your work, we did interrupt it, I understand, but we want to make sure that you are as well placed as possible in the coming piece.
So this is about the peace and the political climate, and nothing I have done.
No, you are fine. Your reports have been quite interesting.
Such a relief.
And we can talk later about what might be missing from those reports.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of taking your time that way. I understand you're super busy.
Here, let me introduce you to some people. And she takes your arm and kind of starts to introduce you to other people at the soiree.
Oh my goodness. I put on my best smile.
Okay. I would say, however, go ahead and roll. Let me bring your character up here.
Persuasion?
I would say roll your. I'm going to defer to you, Ken. Persuasion or notice for like just being social. I think persuasion probably would be good.
Persuasion.
Yeah. So first roll a game. So you're going to roll your persuasion and your wild die. What?
5 and a 4.
5 and a 4. Okay. You do fine in the social situation, even though haven't been in one of these in probably a few years. But you realize that Dame Featherington, she is introducing you to some interesting people in a way that maybe she's looking at you more than just as a researcher, as someone who might be moving up in the Foundation.
Ooh, maybe I'll get a seat at the table. Straighten my back and try to play along as nicely as possible.
Okay. So, Oren, I'm going to ask you a similar question. Oh, wait, no, we asked you that question. So we've gone through all of you, haven't we? All right. Is there anything in particular or anyone in particular you would like to talk to? You can tell that things are starting to happen with the servants getting things set up for the demonstration. So it will probably be fairly soon.
I think Oren would go and make something of a nuisance of himself, checking out all of the pipes and wiring and what have you that's likely hooked up to the portal. Like, presumably that gets all behind like drapes and what have you to tastefully hide, what's there. So he's like, you kind of want to wander over to where the techs are working and be like, yes, I said, I can see, and I'm looking for, are the safeguards in place? Is there anything particularly unusual? Is this thing actually going to ignite all the magic in the world and incinerate us all? Like, it seems like a 1% chance, but
Sure. You go over those cablings and pipes and other things like that lead off to other areas of the garden actually have balusters with the velvet ropes kind of keeping people away. Anyone could jump over them, but or go around them, but in polite society you pay attention to the balusters. The techs look up. A couple of them actually recognize you and say, Mr. Cogsley, it's good to see you. Yes, heard so much about your new ether infused automaton. Is that it?
Oh yes, and I kind of tastefully slip underneath the rope to approach them more closely and start kind of running one hand over the gears because this seems to be an interesting design you've got going here, but did you consider, and then rattle off a bunch of technobabble, and then he's just kind of futzing around with I'm imagining he's got a fanny pack full of tools or something, right? Or just he's got or not even if he's I guess if he's dressed similarly to what he's got, in his overalls, he's got secreted away all of these different tools, and he just cannot help himself. He's Oh, well, we can get that percentage down that you're going to burn the whole world if we just make a few minor adjustments.
Yes, please, sir. Don't touch. The doctor has given very precise adjustments to these things and given us instructions for how these things need to be put together. But so please don't touch. We'll get in trouble. But I'm okay if you're back here, but just please don't get me in trouble.
I don't expect to learn anything if you don't get into trouble. Come on, boy. Minor adjustments. You keep working until the moment of the test.
Well, yes, but I mean, this is a demonstration. The testing phases have all gone fine. So we just want to have a successful demonstration, and further tests can happen. I'm sure the doctor would love to talk with you. Yes, I am sure I would love to talk with you, Mr. Cogsley. As you hear Dr. Alicia Halcyon behind you.
He kind of straightens up and sees a wrench in his hand, tucks it away in a pocket, and says, "You got your tri-ether inverter just configured all wrong here. Not nearly enough redundancy for my tastes."
It would be all wrong for the typical uses of it. This is not a typical use. We have to make sure that the etheric flow goes through a Venturi valve so that it increases its velocity.
Ah, yes, I see. I can see how you would do that, but of course, if you're wrong, you'll kill us all.
As you've probably heard, I'm seldom wrong.
Well,
the only reason why this demonstration might go wrong is if someone, say, adjusted things out of true.
Now. That seems to be an implication. And he kind of goes over to the device and returns it to where it was.
And just so you know, you have a small crowbar, a toolkit, and a whistle.
Oh, the whistle's important.
And as it comes up, I'll make sure to let people know what else they have as well. I'm sure I could leave you here safely. I'm about to start the demonstration, however, if you'd like to perhaps get a front row seat. And honestly, I've heard about your etheric effused automaton. I assume this is it. I would love to talk shop with you after the demonstration.
Excellent. Assuming we're all still alive.
All right. So the doctor actually takes the stage, as well as Lady Morecaster. Lady Morecaster steps up and says, after one of the servants kind of gets everyone's attention, things quiet down, and Lady Octavia Morecaster comes up, and I'd like to introduce you all to Dr. Alicia Halcyon and her latest invention, the Nexus portal, and I will yield the stage to her. Thank you, Lady Morecaster. Welcome, one and all. Today we witness a breakthrough, but more importantly, an expansion to our horizons. The Nexus portal, a groundbreaking machine designed to open gateways to other dimensions. The black cloth gets pulled off, and you see a round, mostly circular portal that is just covered with different technology, pipes of ether running into and through it, and you hear the power begin to thrum as people start to turn on the power sources to it. She continues talking, but I want to hear any reactions to what you've seen so far.
I pull out the notebook, which I keep tucked into my bodice right here, and I start taking some notes. Tech really isn't my thing, but this is a massive amount of energy, and seems a momentous occasion. So I'm going to take some notes with my notebook.
Okay. Yeah. And Liliana saying tech really isn't her thing is understating it. So she's what is that? One of her hindrances one of your hindrances is all thumbs. So you're not particularly adept with modern technology.
No, it's unusual.
But you are curious and dedicated to your research and can't resist a mystery. Any other reactions as this thing begins to power up?
I think, as they unveiled it, I was the first person to stand up and start clapping as they pulled the sheet off and everything like that. And I think at this point he's probably sitting back down holding that glass of wine and looking at it because he just thinks that it's terrible. Why would he give him this wine when there's much better wine?
Nice.
And his eyes are basically shifting between Miss Octavia, the thing going on, but out of the corner of the eye, he's always watching Professor Von I Hate Your Guts.
You know what? Let's roll. What is that? You mentioned, being the first to stand. Let's roll a vigor roll for you.
Oh man!
So
I'm guessing that's D6. Nice.
Yeah.
Just one, right?
Yes.
Whoa. A 2.
Remember to add have a wild die as well.
Oh yeah. And a 4.
Okay. 4. You get up fairly quickly. Faster than most of the rest of the audience, other than Count Rupert von Draken, who is also standing and clapping, and gives you a kind of a wink and a smirk, seeing you try to rise fast, but he evidently started just before you. Yet one more sign of your competitive rivalry.
Then I would stand longer than him.
Oren, do you have any reactions so far?
I think his brain is just spinning madly as he's just taking all of these notes about what he thinks he would have done better, and contemplating the different ways that it could possibly fail, and kind of preparing himself to leap into action when something exciting happens. Because he's fidgeting, I think, just wanting to go and tweak the technology in real time as the portal prepares to open, even though that's probably a terrible idea.
Actually, let's actually perfect. Let's have you do a weird science roll.
Okay.
I've got the theme song in my head right now.
Good theme song.
Not use the physical dice. Wow, that's really horrible. 3.
with the wild die as well.
The wild die was the 3.
Oh, okay. I only heard the one thunk, so I wasn't sure if there was multiple dice there. So
the weird science was a 2.
Oh, okay. On a D8, that's harsh. All right. Yeah, you're definitely wondering, curious. You're not quite sure how this thing is supposed to work. So, like some of the sounds you're hearing are a little disturbing to you, but not necessarily the sound of something that's ether infused about to blow up. Successful demonstration so far. There is a definite swelling in the air of the feeling of the etheric energy mixed with electricity. And as Dr. Halcyon concludes her speech, she steps to the side and throws a lever that's evidently embedded into the podium. And all that energy, you feel it kind of almost like a pulling from behind you, as if almost this portal was also pulling etheric energy from the very air around you. As the portal opens with this purplish blue light, it fills the entire portal and then kind of thins toward the middle and pulls all that apart like an aperture or a set of curtains being drawn to the side. So there's a rim of purple blue energy. And then in the middle of that, you see, it's the evening here, but you see bright daylight on the other side of the portal and trees and some hills off in the distance. And she steps back up, keeping the portal to the side so everyone can still see it, but then says, behold, this is not somewhere else on our world, but yet another world in another place with riches for us to explore and bring back to our Federation to improve the lives of everyone here. We no longer are restricted by the borders of our land, and we no longer need to encroach or be encroached by other nations in pursuit of our raw materials. You hear a cough, Liliana, near you, and look over and see, where is he? And see a man, General Gustav Iron Fist. You've only heard of him a little bit. He's there in like full military dress of Astrakia, with the medals and such that he'd earned in the various battles that he had fought in. He is also one of the prime movers in the peace process and in signing the peace accords. But he kind of coughs at the suggestion of the encroaching or being encroached upon by other nations. So Astrakia is known for its wealth of minerals.
Liliana looks back towards him and kind of senses like a closing opportunity from him, or that he might actually try to sabotage this. And she watches him out of the corner of her eye, but that's a whole lot of plants and things that have never been seen. So she, even though all the hairs on her skin are standing up, she has to go and start diagramming and drawing them.
And through the ones through the portals?
Yes,
okay.
These are things that no human has ever laid eyes upon. So in the name of the Lakeland Foundation, she has to go forward.
Yeah, you do recognize, like everyone else. Everyone else recognizes, there's plants, there's trees, there's grass, and Liliana's like, that's not a species I know. So you start diagramming, the fact that they're opposite.
Opposite or alternate.
They're opposite branching and palm-shaped leaves, etc. So you begin diagramming all of that.
She sees a black-leafed tree, which no one has ever seen before, but it is very reminiscent of the Lutuyo slipper, that has the sap that brings people back to, animates them. It's rumored to be able to actually bring people back from the dead, but it's not in its natural form. You have to do something else to it in order to do that. But she met a tribe that said it was possible, but they reserved it for only the most special individuals because there was a cost. She never knew what the cost was. They never really told her because they had never employed it yet. But they could animate the dead with it. And she sees that blackleaf tree out there that she had found in her expedition too. Maybe somebody else was able to do this as well. So she's moving closer to kind of get a look at it. Is it exactly the same tree or not? But she's kind of butterfingery, so she's moving up the little ramp to get a better look.
There are several others that have moved forward with you to kind of get a better look at this portal. Your pencil slips as you're drawing, as there's a rumble that goes through the earth, and everybody kind of feels it and starts to look around. And Orin, you hear the distinctive sound. There's always an electrical, etheric whine that comes with machines like this. And it's at a high pitch, but then drops an octave or so. And you realize that the power has dropped to the portal.
So I guess I'll intuit with my weird science, like, what are the consequences of the power dropping to the portal?
At its best, maybe the portal will shut down. At its worst, this is the prelude of the destruction of the world. Lots of different things in between. Probably the generators and the pumps that supply the ether to it are being overworked for some reason.
Well, I will obviously leap to my feet and say, "The power is dropping! I told you something would go wrong. Thankfully, I am here."
Yeah.
And I will advance towards whatever the nexus of power influx is to bring my own particular insights to bear on this problem. Okay. There's a problem. I'm going to solve it, or at least make it worse.
You head to the side where you know that there's a bunch of all the conduits and things like that have come together in some junction boxes, and you think that you might get the best ability to adjust things over there. And I'm not going to make you make a notice roll, because you would notice this. So people actually get out of your way when you make this pronouncement. You see a little bit of startledness, a little bit of worry, but then you said, "But I am here. I can help fix this." And they kind of calm down a little bit and give you room to walk over there. And you take a few steps and you realize that your etheric infused automaton, which follows you everywhere, isn't moving.
Uh-oh. Is it as though the ether that had been infusing it has been drawn into the portal?
You look back and you realize that it starts to slump, and you know that that pieces of it are basically held in place with kind of an etheric magnetism. Like it comes apart into pieces. It's not all physically linked together. And as you watch, it falls to pieces in front of you, as all of the ether appears to be sucked from it.
It's worse than I thought. It's not going to burn us all. It's going to suck the life force of our kingdom.
At that point, those people that looked so much, that looked worried but comforted that you were there, are now full on panicking and running. Thad, you see Count Rupert von Draken looking panicked, running up toward the stage, seeing all of, hearing what Rusty, Mr. Cogsley has just shouted out. He's starting to work his way through the crowd toward the stage, with a panicked kind of look on his face, as in, all the money that I poured into this thing is about to go down the drain. You see the portal shimmer, and kind of flicker, as this power drops.
Oh no. I'll kind of start rushing the stage as well, I suppose. No, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. It's just a minor power thing that he said. I'm sure that it's easy enough to fix. We just need more power. More power. Yes, that's all that we need. Does anybody have more power?
Spoken like a true businessman. You're good at the business. You're not good at the tech.
No, not really. I pay people to be good at the tech.
So Dr. Halcyon, she's like, no, don't worry. There's nothing to be concerned about. We can just shut it down for now. And she reaches over while still talking and pulls the lever down, and nothing happens. And she looks at the lever and then looks back at the portal and pulls it back on and then back off. And then she stops talking with a very concerned look on her face and moves over to the side of the portal, and starts fiddling with the tech and things there.
Does anybody have an axe?
Let me look up.
So many people have gotten in my way. I need to push my way forward so I can get a better view.
Okay.
People are both running and then stepping in front of me, and this is no longer doing it. So I am going to go and get right in front of the portal so I can keep diagramming what I want to diagram.
Okay, you are bumped several times, and as you get another glimpse, you notice that the portal flickers, and you see somewhere else that was like it's dark. You see what might be
finish the first one.
What might be like ferns and such, and then it flips back to the first image. You're not quite sure what happened. Thaddeus, you have a medical kit, a flask, a lighter, and of course your ever-present cane.
I am always helpful. I'm gonna drop the wine and pull out the flask. Somebody cut the power to this thing before I keep straining things. Somebody do something.
All right, Rusty. You just saw your etheric infused automaton fall apart. But you were going to go over to try and see what's going on. And then all of this happens and the portal's not shutting down. What are you doing at the moment?
Well, I am now very concerned that all of my worst fears are being realized, if perhaps not exactly how I expected that they would be realized. So now that my greatest creation has fallen to pieces, it seems obvious that this device could destroy all of our livelihoods, if not our lives, and I will attempt to assist in shutting it down. So I've got both repair and weird science. I don't know. I think...
And a crowbar.
I will attempt to do some aggressive, innovative repairs to get this thing to power down in a graceful state. Or, just turn it on.
You're gonna start with a graceful state before you proceed to.
Yes, I'm going to go with first. Let's try and do a soft turn off, and then if that doesn't work, we're going to go with just like start banging on it in strategic ways.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a repair for me.
All right.
Did I run over there to like help him?
Sure, you can run over, seeing
his shoulder.
You know of Rusty a little bit. He's a famous inventor. You haven't gone into business with him before, but he knows what he's doing. So
ever more recently, I just heard him shout that he knew what he was doing.
Right.
I got a 7 on my my repair roll.
Okay. You do see one of the etheric conduits is leaking, and has actually developed a rent in the piping. You don't know if it was there before or if this has happened since the portal was turned on. But that is definitely one possible area of a flaw in this design. That what runs through your head very quickly is that if you were to build this, you would have a heavier gauge of piping to contain the etheric flow. The other thing that you notice with that is that while there is a rent, ether isn't spewing out of the rent. It's almost like there's a vacuum inside of the pipe. As in, the ether is being used so fast, it's formed a vacuum inside.
Alarming.
You can start to try and repair that rent if you want. If you think that that's useful.
Yes, and let's see. I have, I'm assuming in my back pocket, I have, because you would never go anywhere without this, trying to come up with the appropriate terminology. It is tape that is used to secure and bind ducks.
Right. You certainly have, man, you should not be on mute, Aaron. Your laughs are hilarious.
You would hear Zeke otherwise.
Oh,
See how he's like.
We can hear Zeke. That's okay.
Huh?
The dogs that are around the garden are also a bit agitated. Yeah, I would say that in your repair kit you have that sort of tape, perhaps some small metal plates, cast off or cut-offs from other stuff that just happened to be, put in your tool bag instead of, put into a storage area. You begin to seal that breach. It is at about this time that there is a flash of energy starting at the portal, but more rapidly than your eye can follow, flashes outward, encompassing all of you. Everyone's sight and hearing, even your touch, is just overwhelmed. And then there's the feeling of nothing. As you're feeling this nothingness, then suddenly, you're not sure if it's with your actual senses or in your mind or something, you see flashes of lands that you've never seen before, other peoples that you've never seen or heard from before, of varying shapes, sizes, and colors, locations, creatures that you've never seen before as well. These all flash past you very, very quickly. And then you gain the sense that you're still standing, or that you are standing. And it feels like you've been awake for a long time, but you're only just now becoming aware of your surroundings. You're all standing. I'll leave this up to you. You're all standing or sitting, perhaps lying down as you start to become aware, and that you're unhurt. You're not feeling any pains, but you definitely are not in Lady Morecaster's estate any longer. Perhaps not even in Sevralia. You begin to realize that you're all in some sort of underground cavern that's illuminated by sparsely by some luminescent growths on the walls, and some crystals that cast kind of an eerie blue glow around you.
Well, I'm not dead. That's an improvement from where I thought I was going to be. And I'll slowly I assume he's laying down, so he'll probably start getting himself back up. Search around for my cane first off. Make sure that it's still with me, and then use the cane to kind of like stand back up.
Okay.
Oh. And then start looking at the crystals, and a big smile comes over my face.
Liliana feels her head to make sure there's not a head wound involved. Like
no stickiness.
She can,
doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. Because this isn't what she expected, but she's laying on the ground.
Okay.
And after she's lifted her head and done a little, making sure that there's no extra stickiness, she puts her hand down and looks around. This isn't the first time she's been in a cave. That's not unusual.
You put your hand down, and it comes down on the toe of a boot. And you look up, and you see a man kind of standing there, also kind of blinking and looking around. He sees you and holds a hand out to help you up. Let's see. Do you know this person? Let's go ahead and roll your common knowledge. Because you've been out of the world for a while.
Apparently not long enough, because an 8 and a 4.
Okay.
I opened on one of my dice.
An 8 is good. You recognize someone who's actually kind of not a fellow researcher, but an adventurer, scholar, Sir Reginald Blackthorn. He's a member of the Sovralian Explorers Society, and he's always keen on the latest scientific breakthroughs. So that's probably why he was there. He's kind of an average height, lean. Normally you would see him with a smile on his face. Right now he's a bit confused, and making sure that his glasses are like there. So he helps you up from the ground. It's like, that was an experience.
Sir Blackthorn, how interesting that you're also here.
I'm sorry, you have me at a disadvantage here. You are
Liliana Sterling.
Oh, Liliana, if I may call you Liliana. I've heard of your work.
Oh, you have.
I have. You've done some excellent work cataloging different flora and fauna. The lemurs that you found were particularly interesting.
Yes.
Are we all semi-close to each other? Like, do we hear them talking?
You hear them talking. Rusty, how do you come aware?
I come aware and I'm just take in the cavern, but immediately my thoughts go to my automaton and see if the pieces have been swept through after us.
They did indeed. They were near you. They are fairly near you. And you actually see that they are pulling themselves together as it reabsorbs some of the ether that is in this place. One of the things that was one of your inventions was to be able to not have a power source directly inside of the automaton, but to actually just use the ether that is ambient in air all around you.
Well, it is good to see that my automaton is pulling itself together again, thus telling us that there is ether in this location, which I suspect we already knew, but now is confirmed. I kind of glance around, looking particularly at these crystals. Like, do I feel like they are some sort of natural conduit for ether, that they might have been responsible for supercharging the event?
Perhaps. I would say that would be a weird science roll.
Indeed.
And Liliana, I would say roll your arcane biology. So what did Rusty get?
5.
5? Yes. You do think that these crystals have something to do with ether, like they use ether in some ways, part of which is whatever it's doing inside is converting some of the ether into light.
A 5 and a 3.
5 and a 3. Okay. You remember doing some caving as part of your researches, and you recognize some of the lichen here that's bioluminescing, and you are slightly concerned because you know that that where lichen like this is, assuming that you're on your world anymore, that gloom spiders tend to live nearby, because this is one of the sources of food for what they eat.
Oh, I put my hands out. Everybody be very cautious. There could be gloom spiders right in this cave with us. We're near one of their food sources. What should I look out for? Where is their webbing? Is their webbing low? Is their webbing high?
These are one of the things, you know that they're about the size of a small dog, although they can kind of scrunch themselves down to fit through cracks in caves, much smaller than you would expect for their body size. And
are they venomous or just aggressive?
They are not venomous. They are one of the few spiders that don't spin webs. They're jumping spiders.
Oh my goodness, even worse. I put out my hands in the don't panic anybody. Of course, everybody's going to panic because I just did this. They are jumping spiders. They're very aggressive. There's no venom, but they have very large teeth that can be extremely painful with their bite, and it can render flesh from bone. So we need to back away from their food source. We don't want to make any loud, heavy sounds because that will attract them here to defend their area. So everybody step very, very lightly.
And Rusty looks up from the corner wall where he's got his crowbar out and is trying to pry one of the crystals out of the side of the wall and making a ton of noise.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that over all the scraping. What'd you say, dear?
As it goes pop and the crystal comes away into your hand, you begin to hear like tapping sounds. I don't know if you can hear this through as I'm tapping my fingernails, but you hear tapping sounds in the in the cavern, kind of coming from a long way away, but toward you. And I'm going to take that time, and I'm going to say, let's take a 10-minute break.
All right.
All right. Welcome back. I am caffeinated. Josh has got other little ones that may run around, so he's got a background appropriate for the location you all are in. So when we last left, and for any of those joining us now, they had found themselves transported into some sort of cavern. Liliana realized that this was kind of the perfect environment for something she knows of as a gloom spider, and was telling everyone to be quiet, not to make a whole lot of sound, as Rusty finished prying one of the larger crystals off the wall. The sounds of hard legs hitting stone, scuttling across stone was heard. Its original Blackthorn picks up what looks like what is one of the lawn chairs, one of the wooden lawn chairs that evidently was transported with you, picks that up to possibly use as a weapon, and steps in front of Liliana, in the way that, even though the scuttling sounds like it's coming from almost all over the place, you're not quite sure. But he steps in front of her to possibly defend her. Anything else you would like to do as things might be arriving?
You said I have a flashlight?
Oh,
did I hear that right?
You have a lighter.
A lighter, there we go.
Yes. It is bright enough to see by without a problem. It's like being outside at night with your eyes adjusted to a full moon. Yeah. With a cloudless sky.
Okay. I was looking more for like a beam of light to see if that might scare
beam of light? No beams of light.
Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of grip my cane and get ready, I guess.
I'm going to back up against a wall so that spiders can't. One less area.
One less direction.
Get me from.
You look up because you know that they can crawl on the ceiling as well. So
do any of you gentlemen happen to enjoy whiskey?
Oh, I have a flask right here.
Then we want to create a circle. Put it on the ground. Fire will get rid of the spiders.
Oh my! Do you know how expensive this is?
Do you know how expensive the rest of us are?
All right. I said it right. And I'll start pouring out a little circle around us with what little I have in a flask. It's probably going to burn up in like 0.2 seconds, but that's all right.
I'm going to say, if you want this to work to the Gloom Spider's disadvantage, I would say that you can make them afraid of fire if you spend a Benny, Liliana.
A Benny spent.
Okay.
They are afraid of fire.
All right.
What spider isn't afraid of fire?
And by the way, I'm not. This is like the third time I've been running Savage Worlds, and it's been a long since I've run Fate. So feel free to say, "Hey, would that be worth a Benny?" So to remind me. So I want to. I would like to make sure that they flow in and out freely. So you should feel, unlike like inspiration where you only have one. You should feel free to spend them.
All right.
Is Rusty? Do you have any last moment things that you want to try and do?
Yeah, so you know that thing you do when you've got like a battery that you accidentally throw in with your keys, and then the whole thing starts to overheat because you've created a circuit.
Sure.
Yeah, Rusty's going to try and do that with crystal, and I'll spend a Benny to do it. Like, I'm trying to create an ad hoc crystalline ethereal ether hand grenade. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. You know what? I will say roll a weird science, and if you succeed, I'll have you spend a Benny. If you succeed with the raise, it won't cost you a Benny.
All right, cool. Woo! 8, which explodes, for another 3, which brings me to an 11.
Yeah, which is so the standard difficulty would be is a 4. So you got your success and a raise. So yes, you doing a very quick experiment realize that you can effectively short circuit some of the ether that's in this thing, and it will explode quite readily when you set it to do so and toss it. But if you roll a critical failure as you toss it, it might explode before you toss it. Okay. We're going to go to initiative at this point. Initiative is done with a deck of cards. I have my handy Firefly deck of cards here, including the Jokers. And I'm going to use the things over here to keep track of things for me. Oren, right off the bat, you pulled a Joker. So what a Joker means is, I didn't think I'd have to explain it this quickly. What a Joker means when the players get it, every player gets a Benny right now. And Oren can decide when he goes this round.
So I think I'm going to hold until our friends arrive. And by friends, I mean spiders.
Yeah,
by
well,
spiders.
I'll let you know. Yeah, you can just let me know when you go. Liliana, Jack of Hearts. So you're probably going to go pretty quickly. Thad, you're going at 9 of Hearts.
All right.
We've got Sir Reginald Blackthorn is King of Hearts. And 9 of Diamonds is when the Gloom Spiders will be there to attack, and well, we'll have a chance to eat you. So the way this works is with 9 of Hearts and 9 of Diamonds, it's reverse alphabetical. Hearts come before diamonds. So
nice.
Same way as you do it in poker. So that's the quote unquote rolling for initiative. We'll do that every single round. Since we pulled the Joker, we'll be shuffling the cards, which is a very quick shuffle after the very first card.
Yeah.
You all see 5 of these spider things start to crawl through a crack, crawl through a passageway that you hadn't really searched for them, but you now see that there's a passageway. You see a few coming in that way. One comes in through the crack of a ceiling, and so you see 5 of these things already, and they're within, shall we say, throwing range already. But if you wanted to hit them with a physical attack, you would have to move toward them, or they would have to move toward you.
All right, so I'm going to toss the ether grenade towards them. I do not have throwing, so it'll be untrained, so it's a D4 -2. And then,
okay.
But because of the Joker, I have a +2 on all trait checks and damage.
Oh, is that true for this?
Indeed.
Okay. We will go with that this time because I don't want to look it up. But I don't recall that. I don't recall that being the case when I've run it before. But it is entirely possible that I missed that portion.
Page 92, future reference.
Okay, excellent.
All right. So, wait, it's a D4. Hold on. All right. So I rolled a 1 and a 4. I'm going to spend a Benny to re-roll.
Although 4 is all you need, right? To hit.
But mine it's 2 plus 2. I want to see if I can get it to explode.
Okay.
All right. So I got a 4 on my D4, which explodes. I rolled another 4 on my D4, which explodes. I rolled another 4 on my D4, which explodes.
Holy moly.
For a 3, so that's 15.
Okay. 15. Yeah. We're gonna use. I have the equipment cards here, so I'm gonna see. I'm gonna use as a template the modern hand grenade stats, but I'm gonna make it a small template. So it will hit 2 of them. But trying to remember here. So I think you just hit.
And I get an extra damage die if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if the roll is successful. They're hit. Unless they have the dodge edge, which might reduce your roll, but they don't. You roll for each victim separately, and attacks that hit with the raise cause bonus damage as usual. And you got 2 raises?
I did, but I think you only ever get 1 additional die on damage unless they changed it.
Okay, I think that is actually correct, but bonus damage. If you well-placed attack are more likely to hit vital areas and do more damage. If you get a raise, regardless of how many, you add an extra d6. And bonus dice can also ace. So this is the one question that I'm wondering, so this is a 3d6 explosion. So you'll be rolling 4d6. Do you add all that up as one number, or are you looking at each die?
You add it all up.
Okay, so this is like the one case where you don't keep the dice separate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you any dice can explode. So this is where Savage Worlds gets really exciting.
Lethal. Insane.
Lethal for your NPCs.
Yes.
All right, none of my dice explode. I do 15 points of damage, which goes against its toughness.
I'm going to switch us over to this one because I don't want you to see the stats on the Gloom Spiders. You said how much?
15.
15. So their toughness will reduce that.
No, I'm trying to beat their toughness.
Oh,
right. If I remember correctly, it's you try and beat their toughness, and for every 4 beyond their toughness, it's another wound. So if I meet their toughness, they're shaken. If it's another 4, it's a wound. If it's another 4, it's a wound.
Yes. So you got a 15?
Yes.
And for every 4 over their toughness is what you're doing. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so that's for one of them. Go ahead and start rolling for the other one.
I think here's a area effect. It affects both of them.
No, it said roll separate damage for each.
Oh, separate damage for each. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Look forward to that. All right.
So I have these. Thanks to a nice hole punch, a nice size hole punch, I have these little things for figuring out shaken and such.
16 on the second one.
16 on the second one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first one you hit is incredibly damaged. Several legs are blown off. Blue ichor, is sprayed everywhere. And you don't see the second one. You just see bits. If you'd rolled a 16 on the first one would be gone too. All right, so that was our Joker. Liliana.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
go
forgot
ahead.
one thing. I should have added 2 to each of those because of the Joker. Because it's +2 to damage.
Really, Ken?
Yeah.
All right. That one that was still mostly there just kind of falls down and stops moving.
Sorry, you reminded me. This is as a quick aside. This is the joy of Savage Worlds. My character is not trained in throwing. I improvised a thing. I threw it. My dice exploded, and now I've made DM's life more interesting.
Yeah.
So how many spiders are left?
3.
3. Oh, that's still fairly sizable.
Actually, we have our sorry. We have Reginald. So Reginald Blackthorn steps up with the chair and just brings it down on one of these things as it scuttles towards you both. Okay, he's got a D8 for fighting. He is a wild card. I rolled a 6 and an 8, so both dice explode. So that would be a 7 and a 13 to hit. Their parry. Oh, I forgot. Well, you don't take into account their parry when you're throwing something, but they do here. So their parry on the gloom spiders, they're pretty quick on their feet. So he still hits. Let's see, that's a 13. So he still hits, but does not get a raise on his hit. And I'm using these chairs, unless you break them apart, I'm going to consider it a heavy club. So he'll do his, when you do strength, that's his strength stat, right?
Yes.
And no wild die. So it's strength plus D6 for a heavy club. The D6 explodes, getting a 10. I'll go ahead and, so let's see. That one that he hit is unfortunately, it like flattens it. It gets flattened. All its legs kind of splay out. But then it slowly gets back to its feet. Apparently unharmed, but shaken. Now it's a Liliana. My apologies.
Liliana looks over the battlefield. That was a pretty successful grenade.
Yes.
So she looks up to the roof of the cave. She finds it's stalactite, I think.
Yes. Or, yeah. It holds tight to the ceiling.
I think that's it. And she picks up rocks and starts throwing them over one of the spiders that she sees there. I don't know what you want me to roll for
What's
that.
What's your goal with that?
To squish the spider with a stalactite. Like it's a
to break it off and have it fall on him?
It's all I got.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm throwing rocks at its eyes. I'll spend a penny. You
have, you don't have throwing, do you?
No.
Okay. So I've
got hope.
I've got hope. You're not very strong either.
No. I've got hope.
Yeah. You don't think that this is necessarily going to work. There is the ring of fire that you could, using your move, step over into.
I will definitely.
If you want to do that. But go ahead and I guess roll your D4 and your wild die -2.
And hope.
And we'll see if it just doesn't bounce off.
I got, so it's -2 on both of these?
Yeah. But if it still explodes.
So that's a 0 and a 2.
0 and a 2. Okay. Your aim is true as you throw the rock, but it just bounces off the stalactite and falls to the ground.
You could Benny it.
Yeah. What does the Benny do in this case? What are we asking for?
Reroll.
A reroll?
Right. So I think this was just Aaron was just trying to attack it, right?
Yeah, she was trying to attack the stalactite to break it off to hopefully have it fall onto one of the gloom spiders.
Yeah, so I think in this case it would be a reroll.
Yeah.
Right. Hoping for, like I did, that it explodes a whole bunch.
All right, well, here it comes. A reroll. Let's see what Hope does. Hope does not help me. I got a 0 and a 1 now.
Okay.
Hope did not help.
All right. That's unfortunate. All right. So yeah, it bounces off. You are in the protective circle of fire, because you did spend the Benny to make it a protective circle of fire. So
I am. I'm not in chapter 4 of The Last Hope.
Yeah.
Or A New Hope.
Let's see. It is now Thad, and then it will be the gloom spiders. Hi, Zoe.
Oh.
Hi, little one.
Say hi. She's too tired to say hi. She just woke up, so she's in full-on cuddle mode right now.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's see. Well, I suppose I'm safe here in this circle, but I see a couple of my new, comrades, I guess, battling it out with these things. I will go run over to our adventurer, and I will go smack whatever spider he's fighting against.
Okay. The one that he hit already?
Yeah, the one he hit already.
Okay. We'll use club stats for that.
Okay.
So, if you hit, it will be your strength die plus a d4.
Okay.
Will be the damage for it. But
okay.
Go ahead and roll your fighting.
Okay. Which should be D6 now, right?
D6, and then with the wild die?
With the wild die. Okay. 2 4s.
2 4s. Unfortunately, the gloom spiders have a much higher parry than that.
Oh.
And will be dodging.
Okay.
It dodges out of the way. It is not. Oh wait, what is the? So shaken doesn't get rid of your parry, right?
No.
Okay.
That might be stunned.
Yeah. Okay. It is now their turn. The one that you just attacked, Thad, that Sir Reginald also attacked. It is trying to remove its shaken condition. Let's see. Vigor. It is still shaken. So it does nothing. It backs away. That's all it can do. And then there are 2 more. Those 2 are going to ignore Liliana because she is in the fire. So I'm gonna, let's see. One of them goes for Sir Reginald, and one of them goes for Rusty, who's off by himself, off by the cave wall. The one of the ones jumps from the cave wall and jumps at Rusty, attempting to land on his back. And let's see, that is fighting. Let's do this.
You want your pepper? Oh, okay, here. I'll lay you down and I'll go get your pepper, okay?
Fighting. It is not a wild card, so it doesn't get the extra d6. What is your parry? I think it's 2.
Looking.
Although you did just You did do an update. Yeah, you didn't change any of your skills. So yeah, your parry is 2. Sorry. I thought I had that in there as a thing. I've got it over here though. You have a parry of 2 and a toughness of 5. As does Liliana and Thad. So with your parry of 2, it lands on you but does not get a chance to bite you.
Turn the light off.
In terms of Sir Reginald, however, it it's based on fighting, right? Parry is
half of the fighting die plus 2.
Half fighting dice plus 2. So that would be a 6 for Sir Reginald. So it misses as well. Those remaining 2. Okay. And it is new round. So pull those up and we'll start pulling. Starting with Rusty. Rusty, unfortunately, 4 hearts for Rusty. Aaron, I'm going to give you a Benny for creative use of attempt to break off a stalactite and in a rough situation. And you are 2 of diamonds. Thad, you are ace of clubs.
So are aces high or low in this one?
Aces are high.
Okay.
The only thing better is a joker.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We've got Sir Reginald. Blackthorn is a 7 of hearts. And our Gloom Spiders is King of Hearts.
Oh.
So,
That's
does
not
anyone
good
want to
for the home
spend
team.
a Benny to redraw their initiative card?
I can. I've got 4 of them right now.
You've got an ace of clubs. You are going first, so
Yeah.
you don't need to.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I do.
You do. You have 4 of hearts versus King of Hearts. What?
Oh, I thought you meant to have the spiders redraw theirs. To try
Oh
to make theirs
no.
lower.
You can spend a Benny to redraw yours. You can't
Oh, okay.
make someone
Never
else
mind then.
redraw.
Yeah, never mind. Forget that.
No worries.
I'm good.
All right. So you're gonna spend a Benny, Ken?
Yes, I am.
9 of diamonds.
Take that.
It's good, but it still doesn't beat King of Hearts. Are you gonna keep yours or spend a Benny, Aaron, Liliana?
I'm going to keep mine because
Okay.
I have to kind of use the battlefield as my weapon here.
Sure. There are more chairs, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
What is Liliana's? Liliana's strength is a D4.
4.
So
Really great.
there is you can pick up a piece of a broken chair and use that as a club, but but using a whole chair is a little too heavy for you. So
Are there any broken chairs around?
yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, you pick up a leg of a chair, and you thought it was broken, but it's just neatly sheared off.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
As if the transference was didn't necessarily transfer everything whole. So we'll start with our ace of clubs of Thad.
Okay. Well, all right. I've got this. Oh, my poor suit. And I'm going to kind of try to rip the arm off of, like, the sleeve off of my suit and wrap it around the top of my cane, pour some whiskey on it, and use the lighter to make myself, like, a makeshift torch.
Okay.
Since I know that they don't like the fire,
Right.
I'm going to make a little torch and just start...
And you're not trying to hit it. You're just trying to, like, scare it
I'm
away.
just trying to, like, scare them away.
Okay.
No
Okay.
food here. There's no food here.
Let's see. Let's
And if I need to use a Benny to do all of that,
I would say you don't need to use a Benny. Let's survival. Do a survival roll.
which is D6 for me.
As you use the last of your whiskey
Oh, my poor whiskey.
soak your
Sorry.
I mean it's hard to tear because you have good clothing, good well tailored clothing, but you get it.
A 2 and a 5.
2 and a 5. Okay, yeah, you got a success. Yeah, that it is wrapped around there tightly enough that it'll last for at least 2 rounds, and then after that we'll see if it stays lit.
Go on, ruffians, rough them up. I'll hold them at bay.
Okay, the one that was shaken is definitely gonna retreat a little further as you chase it away. It is their turn though. So it's gonna, let's see, starting with, where is the spirit there? D6. Okay. Yeah, the one that was shaken, that you're shaking the cane at, is still shaken and is definitely retreating back toward the passageway that they came out of. Not 2 dice. I did that the last time, and spiders with wild die get really nasty. The one on Orin attempts to bite you, but you manage to kind of scrape it off as I roll a whopping 1. Can non-wild cards critical fail?
I think anybody can critical fail.
Well, I mean, they only have 1 die.
Oh, yeah, then probably not. Right. That would probably get
I mean, you
bad.
can't really critical. Can you critical fail an attack? Anyway?
Yeah, because if you roll double 1s, right?
Okay. I'll look it up later. You definitely scrape it off. It lands on its back and starts to roll itself over. The other one is on your helper here of Sir Reginald Blackthorn, but he keeps it at bay with the chair. So that's King of Hearts. We are now at Orin, and then Sir Blackthorn, and then Liliana.
All right. I grasp the amulet that I always wear around my neck, which connects me to the ether-infused automaton, and I will it to send out a wave of power to protect us. So I'm going to use my weird science to activate the protection/armor component of the automaton. I'm going to boost it by 4 power. So it's 1 power point to activate, 4 power points actually 3 power points to extend it to all of our allies. So
okay,
the other 2 PCs and the NPC. So that'll be a total of 4 points. So then I have to make a weird science roll to activate it, if I remember correctly.
Yes, if I recall.
So I'm going to do that now. And the target number, I think, is a 4, right?
That's a good question. Where is?
I'm pretty sure it is. It's almost always a 4 unless there's a modifier, which this does not give any modifiers. So
here it is.
that means we'll assume it succeeds. I didn't get it with a raise. Situation seems kind of dire, though, so I'm going to spend a Benny to try and boost it more. So I'm going to re-roll my result.
Because if you get a raise, it'll be +4 instead of +2.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying for here. So I got 8, which explodes, gets me to a 5, which gets me to a 13. So that the energy, pulses out from the automaton, settles down around us, as like individual shimmering shields of power, and each of us gain 4 points of armor.
Yeah. The way I was seeing it was that the automaton would break apart into pieces and interpose parts of itself in front.
That works beautifully.
But it's your special effect, so.
Oh, that's fine. I think that works too. Or the best of both. Like the armor expands and it starts just like, having like shimmering around everybody as a way of,
Yeah, sure. That sounds, yes, I like that. Kind of like throwing out a shield around everyone, centered on the piece of armor or the piece of the automaton that floats around you. So did you get the raise?
I did.
Okay. So yeah, as far as I can tell from this card, from the power card, you just need a 4, and then 8 for the raise. So I think you are totally good. So did you want to move or anything?
Yes, I will fall back to accompany my companions.
Okay. Do you want to get in the ring of fire?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say that the ring is still up. I mean, this is just brandy poured on a floor, so it's not going to stay active for very long. This is round 2. It's going to last probably one more round after this before it goes out. That was Rusty. It is now Sir Reginald Blackthorn's attempt to smash things with the chair again, the one that keeps coming after him. He does not get it. He also retreats to the relative safety of the ring of fire, stepping over the fire. It's not much fire, but it does seem to keep them out. And Liliana.
I am going to use mine as a club. Back.
Okay.
So anything that is daring to even get close to the edge of fire.
Okay, I'll say that the one that Sir Blackthorn was attacking scuttles after him toward the fire, but it's staying outside of the fire, but well within your reach to hit it.
Okay. What would I roll for that?
You're gonna roll. Since you're not doing fighting, you're gonna roll a D4 and your D6 -2, unless you want to do all. If you want to go all out, that will give you a +2, but you will be easier to hit until you go again.
Actually, rethinking this, how much lichen is in this cave?
A fair amount. I mean, it's not what the gloom spiders eat. It's what the animals that feed on the lichen are what the gloom spiders eat.
Oh, okay. Dang. Okay. Well, then we're back to smacking it. So, and yes, I'll go all out because this fire isn't going to last much longer.
Okay, so it's just a straight D4 and D6.
Okay. Even if I'm going all out?
If you weren't going all out, it would be D4 and D6 -2.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, it's just a 1 and a 2.
Like actual 1 and 2?
Actual 1, actual 2.
Did you want to spend a Benny to re-roll?
I might need a Benny to save my life later.
Okay. That is it for the round. And grab these cards up. All right, Orin, Ace of Diamonds.
Like a complete opposite from last time.
Liliana, 8 of Clubs. If the spiders go after 8 of Clubs, your all out will be gone. and it won't be easier to hit you.
Okay.
Dad, we got 6 of diamonds. For Sir Blackwood, 3 of clubs. He's going really slow. And the Gloom Spiders are Jack of clubs.
Jeez.
So it's gonna right now. It will be Rusty, Gloom Spiders, Liliana, Thad, and Sir Black not Sir Blackwood, Sir Blackthorn. Anyone want to spend a Benny to change their card?
I may also need one to save my life.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'll use my my little green Benny here.
You have an ace of diamonds.
No, I don't. I have the six of diamonds.
Oh, you have 6 of diamonds, right? Sorry, yeah. Rusty has the ace of diamonds.
Yeah, Rusty's got the ace. I'll try my luck, see if I can get higher. I don't know if I'll get higher than a Jack, but
close. Yeah, so close. All right, Rusty. So it'll be Rusty, then Gloom Spiders.
Wow. So just as a mechanical note, armor adds to your toughness. So everybody's toughness is what it was, +4. Unless they're armor piercing, which hopefully we don't have armor piercing spiders, because that sounds a little advanced.
Utterly terrifying.
Utterly terrible. So I think seeing how Liliana is struggling a bit, let the ether infuse your blows, and I use the boost weird science power to bump her fighting ability.
Okay.
Which would actually give her a die in fighting. So I believe I have to get back to the power.
So boosting allies trait increases the selected trait 1 die type or 2 with the raise for 5 rounds. My question that I had from before is, if you don't have the trait, can you boost it?
I think so.
I think we'll say yes. I think she'll be untrained but have a bigger die type. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, sure. It could still be a D whatever -2.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, one of my edges is that I'm quick. I'm fast to react to danger. I don't know if that means anything or not.
Oh, right.
It means you draw 2 cards and tick the better one.
Oh.
It doesn't say here. Is that what quick was?
Off the top of my head.
I mean, either way, that would still be the 10 of diamonds, but I just was like, I didn't know if that did anything. I assume it does something with initiative, so I probably should have brought it up earlier, but
that's all right. I would say, here's what I'm going to say is, don't spend the Benny.
Okay. Come on back here, green Benny. I've got green Benny, red Benny, orange Benny, and blue Benny right now.
Yeah, what was that called again? That was
it just says quick.
An edge. Right?
Yeah, it's an edge.
Okay.
One of my 2 edges.
Oh, it's actually, you may discard and redraw action cards of 5 or lower. Is what quick is.
Oh, yeah. We'll say don't spend the Benny this time because we didn't know.
Okay.
But 5 or lower next time. So 5 or lower, you may discard it and draw again until you get a card higher than 5.
Oh, dang. So I'm always at least at a 6.
Yeah. Let me check real quick here. We've got Liliana has Scholar and Investigator, which isn't useful necessarily in combat. We have arcane background and power surge, which is for Rusty. Power surge is if you power surge is like if you explode to something, you get power points back for casting. On a Joker, that's what it is.
Before, if I get a Joker, I get all my power points back, which I got the Joker on the first.
You hadn't spent any, yeah. And then healer and quick, which healer we don't need to use yet, but we might. All right, so but we were on. So Orin, you did all the protection last round. What were you doing this round?
I was going to boost.
You were going to boost, right? And you did. Did you get a raise? Or
I did not succeed. I got a 3.
Oh, did not succeed. Okay.
I'm down to my last Benny, but you know what? It's a one shot. I'm going to just spend my Benny because I want cool things to happen.
Okay.
0 Bennies. I got armor. I'm confident. I can always improvise another bomb. All right, I got a 5, so that will raise her by one die. Bump.
Yeah. So Aaron, Liliana, if you attack with your fighting skill, you will have a D6 and your wild die instead of a D4 in your wild die.
Awesome.
And Ken, because you're willing to spend a last Benny for a comrade, I'm going to give you a Benny. Unfortunately, it is now the Gloom Spiders. Let's see. The Gloom Spider that Thad had been chasing away turns and runs. However, Orin and Liliana, you two were in the circle of fire, right? I believe Thad is the only one not in the circle of fire.
But I have my own fire right now.
Yes. So from behind you, 2 gloom spiders come up and jump at you because the fire's on the other side of you.
Overconfidence is a hindrance for me.
I almost grabbed some wild dice for them, but they don't have wild dice. Ooh, ouch. You have a parry of 2. So the 7 I rolled goes down to a 5. So 1 is going to hit you. However, the other one exploded. And that is a 12 minus 2, which is a 10. So that is a hit and a raise. Oh, wait, hold on. How much armor did you give them? Oh, wait, no, that's on the toughness. That's not the hit. That's to resist damage.
Parry is the target.
Parrying is the target number. All right, so that and where's their strength? They're kind of strong. When Liliana said they stripped flesh. Luckily, on the D10 for their strength. This one rolled a 1 and then a 2 on the D4. And then let's see, on the one that has the raise, however, extra D6, right? So this does a total of 10. You have a toughness of 5 plus what? Plus 4. So that's a total of 9 for your toughness plus your armor. They got a 10, and that means that you are shaken. What shaken means is you are not able to take any actions on your turn. But you can move. What was it? At the beginning of your next round, you'll roll your spirit, and if you succeed, you remove the shaken condition automatically. At any time, you can also spend a Benny to remove the shaken condition.
Which is probably what I'll do.
So,
yeah, actually, I'll just do it right now.
Well, hold on. It's your turn now anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I need you to roll. So you'll roll your spirit plus your wild die.
Well, I'll just use my green Benny that I just got back anyway.
Well, this is free to do spirit plus wild die.
Oh, okay. Well,
and then if you fail, you can still spend the Benny.
I gotcha. A 6 and a 1.
Okay. And it was the 6 a.
The 6 is my natural. The 1 was the.
But I mean, does that explode?
Oh, I mean, for the spirit roll, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. So then. Another 4 after that, so 10.
10. You know what? I'm going to give you an extra Benny for getting us a big second wind after you were shaken. For getting that raise. Liliana, and then we'll have Sir Blackthorn.
I am going to try and do an entangle move on the spider.
Okay.
But not with myself. I'm not stupid. I'm going to take off the petticoat from my gown I was wearing, and kind of try to wrap it around and wrap it up in that. One of the ones attacking Thaddeus, because he's got 2 on him, and that doesn't seem fair.
Okay. Can
I roll to do that?
Can you tell us because I don't have my sheet here with me. Can you tell us what the entangle move does?
The entangled character can't move and are distracted until free. Bound characters are also vulnerable and cannot take physical actions other than trying to break free.
Oh, okay. So entangled is a condition. You have to entangle it with something.
Which I'm trying to do.
So I will say, if you're going to try and do this, just throwing the petticoat on top of them would not entangle it enough. You would have to grab it and you would have to grapple with the petticoat with it.
Okay. Well, as 2 of these are surely going to kill Thaddeus. I mean, these things are pretty top-notch predators. So I guess I will dive on it with my petticoat. So I'll pull that off and
so you'll roll.
Make it a big.
You'll roll your new your enhanced fighting.
Yes, I feel suddenly inspired to
so
go
2d6s. Are you going to go all out to remove the -2?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's a 4 and a 4. Thank you.
You are going to need to roll higher than that if you're going to grab it.
Oh. Well, then
you'll have to spend a Benny to do that. You what?
I guess I fall on rocks. What happens?
You would just miss. It would scuttle out of your way unless you spend a Benny to re-roll.
I don't know that I'm going to roll higher than a 4 and a 4.
On a D6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, you tried.
I just don't see that. Yeah, but I don't see that. I don't see myself being that lucky.
Sure.
So, Liliana
you are still boosted for 4 more rounds, by the way.
Takes a heroic leap outside of the fading fire and falls straight onto rocks and gets the wind knocked out of her. And lands at Thaddeus' feet and the spider's feet. Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Seeing Liliana and Thaddeus in trouble, Sir Reginald Blackthorn, he steps out again of the circle of fire as it starts to die down anyway. And he needs to hit their parry. He unfortunately misses with the giant, the chair, the wooden lawn chair. He unfortunately misses. And it is a new round. So let's see what people got. Orin, you're really lucky. Ace of hearts. 2 aces in a row. Liliana, ace of spades.
All right, good.
Thad, 10 of hearts.
Whoa, nice.
You're missing. You're just mushrooms right now. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm downstairs getting some milk right now.
Okay, got it. Sir Blackthorn, 5 of spades. And the Gloom Spiders, 5 of clubs. So since hearts, reverse alphabetical, comes before clubs, Thad will go before the Gloom Spiders. So it is, let's see, spades, then hearts. So it will be Liliana, then Rusty, then Thad, then the Gloom Spiders, then Sir Blackthorn. And if you want to imagine Sir Blackthorn, imagine Milo from Atlantis, but like a little more buff.
I love that movie.
Like Milo, but he's actually, actually become an adventurer, not just fixing a boiler in the basement. So Liliana.
Liliana remains inspired to fight this thing, which is very out of character, but she's using her intelligence. She clearly can't fight this thing on her own, so she's got to trick it.
Okay.
And the only other thing she can think of at the moment is there's always a bigger predator. So the petticoat that was going to be a entanglement turns into a display attack. So I'm going to be using, I think, my presence, essentially, and try to pretend to be a bigger predator to scare it away. So she flares it out kind of like a king cobra would with its glands.
Okay.
And starts making a clicking sound. I can use my arcane biology.
I was going to say that.
Make something terrifying to a spider to make it think that there is a bigger predator than it in the room.
I think that is an excellent idea, and
that eats them, hopefully.
Right. I need to find. I'm looking up Scholar for you to see if that would help at all.
I think it's a +2.
I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna waste time. I will give you the +2. With your Scholar edge. So it'll be D8, D6, +2 to each of those.
All right, here we go.
And I think that would be versus their... I think that would be versus their spirit to see if they would run away or not.
I get a...
Or against their die type. They don't roll. So
I get a 7 and a 4.
7 and a 4. Okay. The 7 is enough. I would say that you can the one you tried to grab and then you lift up. I would say you're on your knees and you push up and you raise the petticoats up. The one you tried to grab and entangle skitters back and then turns around and skitters off and goes through one of the crevices that you had seen them come out before. So that one goes away. That one runs off. And we will go to Rusty. There's one remaining.
Okay. It's within melee.
Yes. All right.
So I don't have a fighting roll. So I'm gonna like take a whack at it with my crowbar. Like, get out of here, skit.
Oh yeah, you do have a crowbar. I will say it's a short crowbar. It's not like the full on. It's like more like a pry bar sort of thing. So you could like you wouldn't have taken a full crowbar into a soiree, but something. I will say it has the stats of a light club. And are you going to go all out, or to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so no
I'm gonna play
penalties.
with this, like, so, all right. Okay, so that's 4 and a 3. I don't think that's good enough with a -2. So I'm going to Benny it.
Well, no,
Almost
it's -2 +2 because of all out, but
All
it
out,
still won't hit.
Right. So
You're going to need a
spend my
6.
last and re-roll.
Okay.
I did worse. I
Okay.
got a 1 and a 2.
Okay. This thing is quick. It's moving around. It's jumping around. It skitters off to the side as you swing at it. We are now at Thad.
All right. Oh, I did not like being attacked like that. And, well, now I've got Orin right here. I feel very confident. And I'm just going to take, I guess my thing is still flaming too, I guess. So
It is probably the last round that it's flaming, but yes.
I'm just going to start trying to beat this spider down, I guess.
All right.
Again, because I got nothing else to do, really. It's the last one, right?
With everybody kind of near Thaddeus, he should be getting a ganging up bonus, which is +1 fighting per additional adjacent attacker.
Good
So a
point.
maximum of
I will
+4.
give you a +2 on this because both Orin and I'll give you a +2. You haven't all surrounded this last gloom spider yet. Okay. Liliana's a little further back, I would say, having chased the thing off to the side to chase the other one into a crevice.
Okay.
But you have Sir Blackthorn and Rusty with you here to give you a +2.
Sweet.
If it's still
All right.
here next time and Liliana comes back, it'll be a +3.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to use Benny to re-roll that 1 and 2.
Okay. By the way, if you roll 2 1s, you unfortunately cannot Benny out of it.
Okay. So good. All right.
So the 2 was good.
We're switching this one out for the gold one because that one hasn't been doing.
Are we saying that we need to build that Dice Jail sooner?
Does 2 6s do anything?
Does that explode?
I mean, yes.
Okay, well, then keep going, because
okay.
if you get a raise, you get an extra D6 on the damage.
Do both of them explode? Like both?
If you got a 6 on both, they both explode.
Oh, okay. Then there's a 5 and a 4.
So 11.
Yeah, 11.
Okay. You got a hit and a raise.
Woo!
With the 11.
All right. I don't know what that means.
So you are swinging a light club, so you'll roll your strength and a D4, and then because you got a raise, also a D6, and you add all that together.
And a D6. Okay, so 2 D6s and a D4. All right. A 4, a 6, and a 1. So do the 4 and 6, 4 on the D4,
Damage.
6 on a D6.
Damage does not explode, right, Ken?
Okay.
Damage explodes.
Damage explodes? Okay, yeah. So the 4 and the 6, you keep rolling those,
Jeez.
and then you add all of those dice up and give me a final number.
So 10, another 4, so 14, 2. Okay.
So 16 so far.
17, 18, 19, 20 total. Damage.
20 total. Okay.
With my flaming staff.
So
my flaming
for
walking.
each, so you needed to get a 4 to beat its toughness, which would stun it, or which would shake it, and then every raise thereafter you do a wound, and you got 20, so that leaves 16 left over. That's 4 raises, which would mean 4 wounds, but things can only take 3. So yeah, that's what yes. How do you want to do that? It looks like you're just like beating it until it
hit me in the back. I don't like stabbers.
Rusty, you are you catch some splatter of blue goo, but all of the front of Thad is just spattered with blue goo, pieces of chitin. A leg falls off of his shoulder. As there's just paste on the ground.
Excelsior.
I don't know what I just did. I kind of blanked out there for a minute. Yes. Well, are there any more?
There are no more. You look around and you realize that two of them had run off, but there's no sign of them, and you no longer hear any of the clicking noises of their feet on stone. So it sounds like there's no more. And we're going to end it here today. As you are all kind of stuck in some sort of underground cavern, lost after a demonstration of an otherworldly portal gone wrong. So catch us next Saturday at hopefully 9 a.m. Eastern. And we'll continue this. I think something weird might happen to Rusty because Ken's not going to be here next week. But Chris will. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us.